What is the difference between democracy and Chinese democracy? Let's find out. The word democracy comes from the Greek words demos, meaning people, and kratos, meaning power. So democracy can be thought as power of the people, a way of governing in which depends on the will of the people. Chinese democracy. In the PRC, the People's Republic of China's definition of democracy has meant a Marxist-Leninist concept of people's democratic dictatorship and democratic centralism. In a viewpoint, CCP acts as the representative of the Chinese people. Does it sound the same or does it sound different? Well, I will leave that up to you. Many Westerners who live in China who do the CCP propaganda, one in particular is a gentleman called Jerry Gray, an English person who was a policeman, then did some security in Australia and has been in China for the whole 20 years, is, how to say, a bully. I once replied to him and he just said basically, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you have no sense. So he actually replied to me in a way of fear. And I don't want anything to do with him, but I do still watch his videos and sort of cringe. But if I reply again, he will just block and delete me and call me some words. Now, this is the way of some, what we call CCP shills, of doing a personal attack. And you've seen some of the bots on my channel, and I've showed them that they called me a white, racist, trash person, kind of, so to speak. But this is what we don't understand in the West, is that when Xi Jinping was elected for the third time, and it's okay to be elected for the third time, look at Margaret Thatcher. She did 3 terms in office until 1990 something, I do believe. And way back in 87, I did vote for her. Well, the only time I voted in my life. So when Xi Jinping got re-elected, this is done in-house. It's not done with the people like in America or in England, for example, where you all go to the polling stations and you vote directly for it. In China, they say it's done in a very indirect way, that you vote for your local council, and then he will be the representative of the people in Beijing. So when Xi Jinping announced, I'm running for the third election, you can see here, 2,952 people of the government said yes, 0 said no, and 0 abstained. Now, does that sound weird to you? Do you truly, honestly think that Xi Jinping is loved by billions of people? He is ruling by fear. If you didn't say yes, then you could say your life is going to be a bit uncomfortable. It's not anonymous. The person you will see who said yes, 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 yes. 0 abstained. So in other words, it's the same thing. He wanted 100% there through his own government related to the so-called Chinese democracy. Break time. So in his rule, has China got better in the last 10 years? Well, look at from 1979 up to his rule in 2012. And there were some leaders who actually did a lot for the country and basically gave a lot of Chinese people more freedom. And you saw the economy, boom, like that. This is with the help and the cooperation, most of the time, with Western governments working as a team. She came to power and went back to the old ways of Mao and just said, we can do everything ourselves. A lot of the stories that you hear from China, they don't have any factual evidence, which is very good how the Chinese manipulate it. They can say, well, you can talk about it, but there's no evidence. It's really difficult to dig. And if you do dig too deep in China, like the 2 Michaels from Canada who got arrested in China, well, guess what? You get disappeared and very difficult to get out of that sticky situation. Wouldn't it be absolutely great if the people of China, if they are a democracy, could vote directly for the next leader? And let's see what would happen of Xi Jinping, as long as the vote was anonymous, which, well, everything is traced in China, left, right, and center. They know where your left foot is going before your right foot has left the other space of ground that you're walking along. That's the surveillance system that they have. Everything is monitored. Places like WeChat, which is like Facebook, is constant. Any words that come up like Xi or revolution or down with the CCP will be notified and monitored. I don't know what that was. I hope it was a firework. Will be monitored. So people, they rule by fear. They are scared. People do have it looks like I've got something there. People do have a lot more freedom than they did with Mao, granted. And up to 2012, well, everything was going fine. But look what's happened with Xi. What he did in 2014, the umbrella movements in Hong Kong, they didn't like what was going to happen because of the 50-year rule between the People's Republic of China and the United Kingdom with Margaret Thatcher in 1984. That was just thrown under the table. Again, in 2019, look what happened with the same thing in Hong Kong and introducing the national security law. The people who support the government in China say everything is fine. But hey, everything was fine before, and a lot better, and freedom. People who got locked up, Mr. Jimmy from Apple News in Hong Kong, just for in a democratic, free part of China, which was Hong Kong, got arrested. And they manipulated this through the national security law, otherwise breaking the treaty. This is why you say you can't trust the Chinese government, or this is why I say because they break rules. Look at the corruption which goes on. The Three Gorges Dam is one, but look at Xi Jinping. He got caught in 2016 with the Panama Papers by giving tenders to his brother's companies, etc., related to building one thing or the other. So the kickback is there. How come he's a billionaire of $1.2 billion, but his salary is, some people would say, $4,000 per month? Doesn't make sense, does it? Is this a democracy? No, it's a giving the people a little bit. The other things which have gone wrong in Xi Jinping's reign, of course, from 2020 up to, for Chinese people, up to the end of 2022, was COVID. And hiding that, moving it around, manipulating it, blaming others, etc. But it's still going on, which is good. One day we will find the truth, with or without the Chinese government. We will get there, and we will find out that it did come from the Wuhan virology lab in, I have to say, Wuhan. Again, it's just plainly obvious, and the time dictates it. Watch some of my other videos, and I've showed the timeline. I'm wondering about these fireworks. So, your opinion's free. Yeah? China rules by fear. A lot of people in China, yes, they are very happy. They have a house, they have a car, they've got schools to go to. It is a lot better from when it first started way back in 1979. You could say the Reformation, the opening up of China in that year. And it did get better up to Xi's term. But people are just, I could imagine, well, another 4 years, then there's going to be another president or dictator, or the actual correct title is General Secretary with that. And we hope that he eventually steps down, or he gets outvoted in his kind of election, or the Chinese CCP Chinese election system, where you, the people, don't vote directly. You vote for your leader in your area who may represent you in the government, and it's them who would vote, but they would vote in fear, because if they say no, and you can see no one said no, which is really, really strange, well, let's leave it there for there. Comment, view, share, like, subscribe, and if you feel generous enough to donate anything to the channel so I can have some more hobnobs with my delicious cappuccino, all the links are in the description below. God bless to all. Thank you very much for your time. Freedom, democracy, true democracy, not Chinese democracy.